13th, 2022 RTM meeting to order. Madam Clerk, it is 7:03. Madam Clerk, will you please call the roll?
Thank you. Representative Adams.
Here.
Bailey. You're muted, Bailey.
Here.
Burrell.
Here.
Bright.
Here.
Casper. I see him online. He stepped away, but I know he's here. Representative Cerf. Chase.
Here.
Kopp. Representative Kopp. Okay. Crockett Hubbard. Dean Shinbrot. Eben.
Here.
Frickman.
Here.
Fritchie.
Here.
Gardner.
Here.
Gothier. Guinipiero. Maybe later. Okay. Gustafson.
Here.
Hainline. Hanscom.
Here.
Ivy.
Here.
Jacome.
Here.
Massett.
Here.
Merritt.
Here.
Norman.
Here.
Aubrey.
Here.
K. Powers.
Here.
S. Powers.
Here.
Pacino.
Here.
Ray.
Here.
Scott.
Here.
Cimarero.
Here.
Thomas. B.C. Williams.
Here.
Watson.
Thomas is here. I'm present. I'm on my way into the building soon.
Okie dokie. Watson.
Here.
Weaver. Excuse me, Representative Weaver. Wells.
Here.
White.
Here.
Whitney. Representative Whitney. And Rusk.
Here.
There's 30 here.
We could all please rise from,
Here.
Yeah, I got you, sir.
we could all please rise for a moment of silence, please. Representative Norman, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First item on our agenda is the approval of minutes for the RTM regular meeting of June 8th, 2022. Could I get a motion? Second. Okay. Are there any corrections? Okay, so Kristen Powers is saying she can't hear. Can anybody hear us on Zoom? Representative Casper, can you hear us? Can I get a thumbs up?
No sound.
I can hear now.
Can you hear loud and clear, or is it an echo?
Good.
Are we better?
Bailey here.
Okay, thank you. Any corrections to the June 8th, 2022 minutes? If you have a typo for one of the minutes, just please contact the clerk separately. Representative Eben?
I just wanted to thank the clerk for really outstanding minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, seeing no corrections, those minutes are approved. And then I will take a motion, or we'll take a motion to approve the town meeting minutes for the annual meeting.
Second.
I need a first.
I thought you first.
Representative
Yes,
Scott,
Scott.
Representative Powers. Are there any corrections?
Those are big ones.
Seeing no corrections, those will be approved. Okay, we're moving on to public petitions. This is the portion of the RTM agenda where the RTM welcomes comments from the public. Each presentation should be limited to 5 minutes or as directed, and if possible, submit written comments. Presentations should be limited to matters pertinent to the town of Groton. The moderator or members through the moderator shall ask questions only in order to clarify the speaker's presentation. Responses may be given by the moderator and/or the town manager. Individuals should state their name and address for the record, please. I have one. Yep. I have Keenan Jones first on the list. Do you want to go together? Yes. Okay, Keenan and Katie Jones, please.
Back up. All right, my name's Kevin Jones. I live in 12 Rhonda, right next to where Cutler used to be.
Can you, oh, I'm going to have to ask you to get really close to that microphone so everybody can hear you, please.
Okay. You got it?
No. Like, eat the microphone. Sorry.
There.
Better?
Much better. Thank you.
All right, this is it. All right, weird. I live next to a neighborhood that used to be Cutler. And I'd like to speak about short-term rentals, Airbnbs, STRs. The lack of action by the town now leaves much ambiguity as to what is actually expected when purchasing or occupying a property. Ambiguity can lead to friction as the needs of residents conflict with the actions of rental operators. Someone living in a house behaves differently than someone vacationing there. When we bought our house 17 years ago, we did not expect that an out-of-state investment group would start running a hotel next door in our residential neighborhood without at least some sort of notice, but there they are, regularly inviting groups of strangers to party in a house where I have not met the owners, nor am I even certain where they actually live other than Massachusetts, or who to call if there are issues or an emergency other than the contact us link on the Airbnb website. I'm not against the idea of bed and breakfast or letting out rooms, but what is happening in Groton now is a wholly different thing. A person making ends meet using a spare room on their own property is not the same as corporate investors buying up local housing stock to profit from unenforced regulations. Allowing currently operating STRs to register with the town will legitimize them and make it impossible to regulate this market. The legislation passed last night by the council is a disaster and must be vetoed. The current zoning regulations need to be enforced. That's all I have. Thank you.
I am Katie Jones. I am Kennan's wife, same address at 12 Rhonda Drive, and I'm very short, so I got to stand on tiptoes. Does it come down? Oh, we got it. Thank you. So I have given a statement of a copy of a statement that I wrote to Mr. Thomas from a different district. I also sent it to every rep from our own district. It was presented to the Planning and Zoning Commission last night and also to the Town Council. And when we talk about living in Mystic or in Groton, any part of Groton, the city, Noank, Groton Long Point, Mystic where we live, we talk about being invested in our community, and I don't mean merely a financial investment. We are invested in the people here. I work for an elementary school as a substitute teacher. I work for a small business in town. I am in no way against economic growth in Mystic, but this needs to be reasonable economic growth, not just in Mystic, but in Groton. What we have now is destroying the neighborhoods that we came here to be a part of. Kenan grew up in Noank, I grew up in Ledyard. We make our home here, we work here, we shop local, we love our neighbors. We don't know all of them, but those that we don't know by name, we wave to. I don't know the people who are 30 feet on the other side of the fence. My 12-year-old son won't camp out in the backyard because I don't know who the people are who are 30 feet away drinking beer and swearing at 10 o'clock at night. Okay? This can't go on the way that it's going. I know there's economic incentive in purchasing a home in Mystic and renting it out, but we need to look at the other investments in our town, in the town of Groton. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions? Is there anybody else who would like to speak tonight? Representative Massett, do you have a question regarding what they stated? Not to discuss it, not to start a discussion.
Oh, no.
Okay.
Could you?
Microphone.
I'm sorry.
Please.
Right up your mouth.
I'm waiting.
It should be on.
Thank you. Right here. Would you mind forwarding a copy of your statement to the RTM? Okay, the clerk will do that.
Yes, I actually sent a copy to every rep from my district,
Okay.
including Ms. Tom Frickman and, yes, Jim? Yes. And also Ian Thomas from, I forget the number of his district. forgive me.
District 3.
And as I said, it was sent to the council as a whole, it was sent to the Planning and Zoning Commission, but Kenan, if you would like, can certainly send a copy.
Excuse me, could
of
you
his.
speak into the microphone so we can
course.
hear your answer?
I'm usually loud enough that I don't need a mic, but.
But the people online definitely can't hear.
Of course, sorry. Most of the reps in our district should have a copy. Mr. Thomas right here also has a copy, and Kenan, I'm sure, can provide copies to anyone who would like one.
We just got a copy to the
Oh.
town clerk, so she can scan that and send that out to everyone.
Okay.
Yes, it'll be part of the record.
Yes, this was,
In the microphone, please.
yes, I sort of spoke off the cuff right now, but what I'm holding in my hand is what was actually sent to everyone and
If you-
that I just mentioned. Do
If
you want me to
could
read it
send
in
that-
full? Or
If you could send that to the town clerk, she can send that out to all of us.
No,
Is that the same? No, that's a different one.
It's a different statement.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
No, that's okay. I can send it to the town clerk, absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Sorry for the misunderstanding.
Representative
read the
Cerf,
whole
do you have a
thing, though.
clarifying question?
I think she wants
Do you have a clarifying question?
I don't need
Okay.
to.
Yeah, my name is not in front. I'm Representative Cerf.
Hi.
I do have a question about a lot of people have testified in favor of short-term rentals, and they say they have nice families who come and stay.
Representative Cerf, we can't have a discussion right now. That would be considered an illegal meeting.
Right.
So if you have a clarifying question to
Oh, I thought you said we could ask a question?
clarifying, it is simply clarifying what she stated. So if your question was something like, can you repeat where this is? Something like that, you didn't understand about what she said, but we can't go into a full discussion.
Okay.
If it would be helpful, Ms. Cerf, I'm happy to read my statement in full.
That'd be
That
fine.
may answer any questions preemptively for
A
people.
lot of us telephone numbers are on the website, and mine is, so if you'd like to call me, I'd be happy to talk to you.
Certainly. But I can read it, and I apologize if it is redundant for those of you
That's
who may
okay.
have already read it.
We really appreciate your coming. Thank you.
So my husband and I have lived in our home for 17 years. We've seen folks come and go, as I've mentioned. We've watched children grow up. We've met neighbors while walking our dogs together, and many of these neighbors we are lucky enough to call friends. Even those with whom we aren't terribly close, they share waves with us or smiles as they drive or jog by. There's the occasional raucous party, that's to be expected, but those die down by dusk and are over by dark. Folks here know each other, respect each other, and our investment in our neighborhood and this town goes far beyond the financial. The house next to ours at 10 Sharon Road was purchased earlier this year by an individual from Massachusetts and is currently let out several times a week through Airbnb. Its listing advertises that the modest home accommodates 8 guests. We have 3 people living in our house, and sometimes that feels too small. It's a mirror image of this Airbnb. It includes 2 driveways and plenty of street parking and has a fenced-in backyard. That fenced-in yard borders our back and side yard, and boy, do voices carry. Since May, we've been subjected to a parade of strangers coming in and out of a house some 30-odd feet from our kitchen sliding door. Guests playing music at high volume, yelling and swearing well within earshot of the many young children who live in surrounding homes. We know that Robert Frost said that good fences make good neighbors, but in the case of the hotel next door to us, for that's what it is, really, a good fence simply is not enough. This particular hotel lists its host as Evolve, not a person, but an entity which manages multiple Airbnb listings. There is no local person to whom one can direct complaints or concerns. I was lucky enough to meet one of the actual owners while walking my dog, and I questioned him about the rumor I'd heard that this house was to be an Airbnb. I introduced myself, as good neighbors do. He denied it until I pulled up the listing on my phone, which had been forwarded to me by another neighbor. He grudgingly gave me his cell phone number and encouraged me to text him if any problems should arise. I have texted him twice to complain about guests swearing loudly and yelling in the backyard. The more recent occasion was 2 nights ago. When I asked him to address this issue immediately, he called me pushy and arrogant for telling him what to do with his own property. My neighborhood is a residential zone, not commercial, not mixed use. I have no wish to dictate what one does in his or her own home, provided that individual is not in violation of zoning regulations. However, I do not wish to see homes in my neighborhood gobbled up for purely mercenary reasons. I have no wish to see short-term rentals banned outright in Groton. I know several responsible hosts who either live on site or reside close enough to nip any potential issues in the bud. Groton must put regulations in place regarding short-term rental properties. It must enforce them. The weak ordinance that is being rushed through currently by some members of the council does not provide any sort of weight. And as my husband so eloquently put, it legitimizes the businesses that are already here and are in flagrant violation of zoning laws. I'm sorry, this topic is very upsetting to me. The STR next door to me is not a residential home. It's not an inn, it's not a bed and breakfast. All of those have staff or individuals on site. Require hosts to at least live on site or tax accordingly the STRs that are simply hotels in sheep's clothing. Thank you.
Thank you. Next up is receipt of communications. Does anyone have any communications? Representative Wells.
I received a phone call the other day from James Netz, who lives at 100 Lambtown Road, and he was concerned about getting the road paved. And then there's also a question of a 3-way stop sign, which is off a cul-de-sac. It doesn't seem to serve any purpose. And of course, it's the Quaker Farm Road Bridge, and I think that that's the root of the problem. That the reason there's a 3-way, the only reason I can imagine that there'd be a 3-way stop on, where 2 cul-de-sacs come together, is that people, when the Quaker Farm Road Bridge is operational, people use that to get to the traffic light at the intersection with Flanders Road, as opposed to the other ways out to 184. And he also mentioned that, well, we don't have sewers, so they're feeling a little neglected up there. And I know the feeling. We have our friends at North Stonington Road are being stuck down there wondering, when and how. So we need to find out I need to find out and get back to him on, what the status of the bridge is. I think once the bridge is in, they will have to do some paving and perhaps pave the whole of Lambtown Road when they do the paving. Anyway, that's just another District 5 feeling a little left out.
Thank you, Representative Wells. Anyone else? Representative Thomas?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I received a letter from Alyssa Wright regarding short-term rental situation. I believe, has that been forwarded around to the whole RTM? No. Okay, I'll send that out. I thought it did get sent around. Long story short, it's a statement in support of maintaining and enforcing current prohibition on short-term home rentals for the periods of 30 consecutive days or less. Basically the essence of the zoning concerns, that it's a land use concern, and her main argument is that it does not belong to the town council primarily to legislate, that it is a planning and zoning primarily, and then town council ordinances should support that regulation. I also I received phone calls and then met with a number of Branford Manor residents regarding their situation ongoing over there. And it's not great. The essence of the conversations had to do with frustrations with the management still currently not really coming up with a cohesive plan towards remediation and relocating the residents. There's no comprehensive survey going on of the whole scene over there, so it's all just kind of a piecemeal slapdash type approach, which is not sufficient. And a lot of people are experiencing great discomfort on top of the health and safety risks that they're experiencing. To that end, I did send out a couple of inquiries to the town manager and to the city mayor regarding the background on the situation. I was curious to know what sort of oversight there was exercised over this tax abatement deal. If you read the deal, there's a number of quarterly reports that were supposed to be monitored, and so I inquired for those. The town manager responded with a link to the website, the town website, which I will also forward to the whole RTM here momentarily. And there's now links on the website to take you to a number of documents that the town has on file. However, the city is the primary jurisdiction for oversight for this deal, just so you know. And the city mayor has not responded in a constructive fashion. He directed me to the building department and the fire department to look for these quarterly reports. When I inquired after them there, they had no knowledge of these quarterly reports. I was able to review a couple of the files having to do with the site locations, but what I was looking for should be summary reports that were filed somewhere. And so I'll forward that email as well to the rest of the RTM. So there's that. I think there's a lot of work to be done there. So anyway, I just wanted to relay that, and I'll send those emails out to follow up. And I would encourage everyone to pay close attention to the situation there. Thank you.
Representative Eben.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I also attended a community forum at Branford Manor and wanted to relay that the constituents who live there in District 2 have numerous complaints lodged at the management, which have apparently gone have not been responded to. And so people have really have real issues with health and safety, that the units have not been kept up, have not been maintained, maybe primarily through COVID. It seemed like the main excuse they were using, but there was a desire to look into that tax abatement, and if conditions were not rectified, to explore means of not having the town have that abatement. So I just wanted to relay that. The residents are very, very upset at what's happening there. And I got to be honest, although the management was certainly polite and did engage the meeting, and you did organize the meeting, they did not really set timelines, for any types of deliverables in terms of rectifying the situation. So this is really something that has to be looked at, and the tax abatement is well over $400,000, I believe. So it's something that has to be looked at and has, monetary implications for the entire town. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Eben. Representative Obrey.
Hello.
Hello? It's on. Okay. A couple of things that I wanted to mention. I have had conversations with numerous people about the Airbnbs and et cetera. And when I was on the council, and I think maybe we should ask the manager to go back and find this, we passed I'm not sure if it was a resolution or just what it was, but after great debate, we passed the fact that they have to be registered with the town. And there has to be somebody that can be notified if there is a problem. And that person only has a certain amount of time to respond to the police. If the police are called and there's a problem, they're supposed to have a number to call and to get the person that's responsible for the property. Now, why this has gone by the wayside, I don't know. It's certainly not the answer, but it would be helpful if that was brought back to light, because we did work on it, and we did come up with something that we thought would be helpful, but I don't think it's being acted on, and I don't think people are being made aware of it. So somebody's going to have to start registering these people and getting the appropriate information, and then the police are going to have to work with us to do what's appropriate when they get a call. So that's one thing I hope that I'll put in a request for it, because I remember when we did it. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that I'm not in the district, but I'm close to it. I have friends that live down at Branford Manor, so I've had many conversations with them. I've also had conversations with the mayor and the manager. And I know that actions are being taken. The mayor of the city brought in Ledge Light. He has been in touch with the owners. They have a new manager down there. He's attempting to help them to organize a tenants association. He's been in contact with HUD, FHA, every place that he could reach out to get assistance with this problem. So it's not in any way being ignored. And they are also reviewing the tax abatement to see what portions of that they can use to try to rectify this problem. So it's not being ignored, it's being addressed. Thank you.
Madam Moderator, just to clarify what Representative Aubry was saying about the town council when she was on, she remembers the committee of the whole did put together a draft and did hold a public hearing on that draft, but it never went anywhere else. And the new town council came in, and so we're at that point. It's still a draft.
So I guess we'll have to ask to bring it back.
Well, it's the committee of the whole last night did approve the draft. There's some changes, but not much. Oh, we just lost Zoom. Oh boy, hang on. We'll just wait a second.
Sorry, we're going to pause the meeting for a moment while Zoom reconnects.
It's connecting. It's connecting. They're still on with me, but I'm not well, it's still being recorded. It's just your system. It's not. I mean, I'm recording it.
Somebody who is on Zoom, and let me know if you can actually hear us. Because for those of you who don't know, the town clerk, guys, if you can hold on a second, please. The town clerk has it up on her screen.
Can anyone hear me on Zoom?
Video able to join the meeting.
On the last census. Debate and complain about the census. I found the management very receptive to the U.S. Census work.
You gotta understand, I love this guy.
We fight all the time. Just weren't very receptive.
Just like Chris and I was going to
Does everybody get kicked off? No internet.
Okay, we're going to take a 5-minute recess while we try to get this fixed, so feel free to take a minute.
past, the last town council, the 32nd town council, in committee of the whole, did have a draft, a short-term rental ordinance. And I believe they wanted to have input from the Planning and Zoning Commission. That was talked about. And there was a public hearing on the proposed ordinance. There was lots of dialogue. This is after a committee had been formed to come up with what the draft is. So last night, the Committee of the Whole is recommending the council adopt the ordinance the way it was written. So it'll be coming to the council on August 2nd, and then the RTM will have 45 days to consider, veto if they want to. That's the way it works. Or actually, the public could actually petition for a referendum. So.
Thank you.
Representative Jacome.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I was also able to attend the Branford Manor tenant update that they had. I do see that the town manager and the mayor of the city are working towards some sort of solution. What I would like to see, I agree with some members, is some sort of a timeline as we look into that. But I have seen that, the mayor and the town manager are working with HUD and, elected officials to try to get something done. And I think we all want to see something done. Thank you.
Representative Cerf.
Yes, I've also received dozens and dozens of communications about short-term rentals, and I live in downtown Mystics right next to one. So I decided to take myself out of the short-term rental business in terms of saying, well, I want this and I don't want that, blah, blah, blah. What concerns me at this point, and this, what I would like to urge this body to do, since it will come before us at some point, we'll have to vote on it, is to make sure that the Planning and Zoning Commission is included in the process, which I believe is what the Leon's last council expected to do, is to work with Planning and Zoning, with the Planning Department, with the Town Council, et cetera, in the public hearing, to basically get a thought-out decision on this, which is a very complicated one. But what happened last night is there was a decision made not to involve planning and zoning. And I urge this body to encourage the town councilors to include planning and zoning again. Oh, Betsy's giving me the
Thank you.
choke signal.
We can't discuss an issue that is not on the agenda. We're under communications. So if you have something from a constituent that you need to share, that's how we do this. Please.
I'm going to ask, if I do say your name, to please stop talking so that we can address what the concern is. Thank you. Is there anybody else who has receipt of communications? Okay, so I have a few things. I have 2 referrals to the Recreation Committee. Item 2, I'm going to use glasses, sorry. Item 2022-418 CSDE Summer Enrichment Grant. I also have item 2022-414-1 Wellness Hub Grant. So those 2 items will both go to the Recreation Committee. Representative Aubry, you are the chair of that, I believe?
Yes,
Thank you.
but I'm not sure I got the numbers right, so I'm
All right,
gonna have
I'll give them to you at the end. I received correspondence from former Finance Director Cindy Landry. It reads, "Dear RTM members, your kindness will always be appreciated. Thank you so much for the cake, roses, and kind words in celebration of my retirement. You have no idea how much that meant to me. It has been a pleasure working with all of you. Sincerely, Cindy R. Landry." So thank you to all of you who had a part in that. I did receive an email, I believe you all did, from Will Langdon regarding the boat ramp repairs. If for some reason you did not get a copy of that, please let me know. But I believe it went out to the whole RTM. It just went out today, I believe. It discussed repair of the boat ramp at the juncture of Islam and Bay Street and the state ramp at River Road just north under I-95. I will let you guys read it. I know some of you have already seen it, but it discussed concerns about the repair of it at this moment. It is a state road, yes,
Both of them are
or
state ramps.
state ramp. I received an email from Tammy De La Cruz, who is the chair of the Citizen and Police Committee. There was a question last month about the demographics of the committee. So she did send me a list, but I believe Mr. Bright is going to talk about that today, so I will let him take care of that. A couple more things. I went to the town council on August, I'm sorry, no, it was on August 2nd. It was last month, to discuss your concerns regarding the ordinance to establish property tax abatement for surviving spouses of fallen emergency workers.
It was a committee of the whole meeting.
I'm sorry, yes, it was a committee of the whole meeting. And my child's calling. So they proposed a new, some changes to the ordinance. It will go to a public hearing on August 2nd at 6:30. I believe you all received a copy of the new wording. If you have concerns, please come to the public hearing. If you approve of it, please come to the public hearing, discuss your concerns, discuss what you like about it. Please talk to your constituents and get their opinions on it, and let the town council know. That is mine.
Okay.
Oh, and I received correspondence from Sue Hainline and Susan Jean Chinbrat that they would not be here tonight.
And we heard from Representative Adams about Representative
Lynn Crockett-Hubbard
Yep.
could not be here tonight. Yes.
having surgery.
The town manager was unavailable tonight. He did send out a report. I want to, in light of tonight's discussion, I want to make sure that you are aware that in, come on, Jill, find the report. The short-term rental ordinance was discussed by the council.
Committee of the whole.
The Committee of the Whole, thank you. It says council on here.
I know.
It was discussed by the Committee of the Whole. It will return to a council meeting on August 2nd. Again, if you have concerns about it, please come and discuss it at that meeting. You can speak in public comment. If the ordinance passes, it does come to us for a veto or let it go.
There's a lot of interesting things on
So.
this report. There are copies of this report on the table back there. Town manager's financial report and regular report.
There's an economic development report in your packet. I know last month, Representative Gardner, you had asked about the superintendent coming. I did speak to I spoke with the superintendent's admin. She is able to attend the August meeting. She was away this month. I know this is kind of a rough season for people to be available sometimes. So we are on to the liaison reports. Representative Casper, golf report.
Can't unmute or anything.
There he is.
Did you hear us?
Representative Casper? Liam, do we have volume?
He's coming.
Can you write something in the chat? Are you able to speak? You're muted right now. There you go.
No.
Now you're unmuted.
Can you hear? Oh, boy. Looks like it's on talk.
Do you have, you just said something. What you just wrote?
He didn't write anything.
Oh, Representative Casper, can you hear us?
Nope.
I can't hear you. You're he's not
No,
muted.
he's not muted, but it, oh,
Your
wait a minute.
computer
Maybe I have
broke?
to turn this up. Wait a minute. I don't know how to use this.
Representative Bailey, are you able to speak? I just want to make sure that the Zoom isn't broken. Representative Bailey, can you speak?
Yes,
I'm not
but
getting
I
anything.
can't hear him. I don't know how to-
Okay, so
This isn't my computer, guys. Mine's over there.
Representative Casper and Bailey, we're trying to fix this.
Let me see.
It was working before because we had Representative Evans speak earlier.
Casper, can you hear me?
Now we have one. Okay, Representative Casper.
I sure can.
All right,
now,
we're
yay.
good.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, Representative Casper, do you have a Gulf report?
No further report. We finally had the meeting, but the financials remain as reported previously.
Thank you. Representative Eben, do you have a long-term recovery committee report?
No meeting that I know of, so no report.
Thank you. Representative Aubry, EDC,
Which one?
Economic Development Committee.
Okay.
Microphone, please.
Sorry.
Don't touch it.
Delay. At the Economic Development meeting, there was a great deal of conversation, again, about trying to reach out to the local businesses. So they're forming a group from the EDC committee to start to reorganize the Groton Business Association. So there will be information going out on that. And that was probably one of the bigger conversations that evening. Their feeling is that Groton proper, is what I call it, it does not have representation with most of the things that do go on in the town with like maybe chambers and so forth. And so they would like to reinitiate that conversation. And then also, the fact is when there's something that they think needs some conversation, they can bring people into the council and the RTM to speak about it. This is mainly things about businesses. So that was the crux of the meeting.
Thank you. Representative Chase, was there a town council? Nope, okay. Representative Bright.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. There was a meeting held on 11 July 2022 in Town Hall Annex Community Room 1. The meeting was called to order at 5 p.m. by the chair. The committee members present were the chair, committee person Erickson, Parfit, Velez, and of course Chief Fiscaro. There was one other person present besides myself, and that was Councilor Kassiri. The May 2022 meeting minutes were approved and are available for review. I did mention the diversity and outreach concerns of Representative Thomas, and the chair said that actually I believe, and you can correct me, that the town council chooses who's on the committees.
That's correct.
So I think that's more for a town council concern for diversity, because once they're chosen, I don't think the chair has much input on that. However, she did say the outreach, one of the things that was discussed is there were a lot of outreach programs for the children. And Councilor Kassiri brought up and mentioned a whole bunch of them. But there didn't seem to be too many for adults. So I had mentioned maybe having a citizens police academy and maybe some other things that we could use for outreach to get more interaction between the police and the community. It seemed to be, positively received. We held discussions on committee name change, mission statement, and police procedures. The committee decided to keep the current name, and we wrestled for a while on the actual mission statement. So the end point was they need more input, possibly from citizens and residents. And the chair was going to go out and try to get input from the citizens. And also maybe if any RTM members have any suggestions for the mission statement, it would be greatly appreciated. And Chief Fiscaro held a really in-depth presentation on police procedures that are on the town police website. So if you want to see what the procedures are on the website for the town police department, they are on there, so you can read them. And there's 14 major ones. He also talked about the upcoming accreditation, and they're going for the highest type of accreditation that you can get, not just the state. The state's the minimum, but they're going for the higher accreditation. He did talk about recruiting. We have 6 officers presently in the academy, and they hope to, interview them when they graduate and possibly, hire them. And then they have 2 to 3 actual seats in the next class for the police academy. And then he did talk about, the training that these officers go through, and it takes about a year before they can actually go out on their own. And then he talked about the dash cams, which they are going to be installing on all the vehicles, and then also the data management system that's used in the cars and how it interfaces with the cars, the dispatchers, and the actual police department. And the meeting was recorded and posted, so if you want any in-depth information from Chief Fiscaro, you can go on the meeting minutes that were posted. The next meeting will be 19 September 2022, and then the chair adjourned the meeting at 6:20.
Thank you, Representative Bright. Next up, we have our committee reports. Rules and Procedures Committee, Chairman Watson, please. Oh, Representative Jacome, did you have a question?
I have my report.
Oh, I'm so sorry, I missed you.
I'll quickly say that the town council met on July 5th at 6:30. They had 3 proclamations, one for recognizing Juneteenth as a public holiday for the town of Groton, another one for recognizing the class of 2022 for Groton Middle School, and recognizing Broderick Coleman's service to the community. If you all didn't know as well, he was the gentleman manning the bridge down in Mystic, so enjoy his retirement. There were several citizens' petitions, comments, and concerns regarding Branford Manor, short-term rentals, and light trespass ordinance and pollution. The council approved multiple things, such as a Navy honoring road name request of Crystal Lake Road to Submarine Capitol Avenue. They also approved, I believe, moving forward with public input for ordinance to establish a property tax abatement for surviving spouses of fallen emergency workers again. They also approved the Wellness Hub Grant, the CSDE Summer Enrichment Grant, the acceptance and I believe disbursement of the National Opioid Settlement Acceptance Funds, and the percent increase of the retiree pension COLA, and the Ethics Commission training and request to review the ethic ordinance. And the next meeting is August 2nd, 6:30. Thank you.
Thank you. Did I miss anybody else that is a liaison? My apologies, Representative Jacome. All right, Chairman Watson.
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Ken, you can lift it up.
You can lift it up.
Yep, there you go.
How's that?
Much
You
better.
can hear me good?
Yes.
Okay, rules and procedure. We actually tried to have a meeting on June 1st. We had a quorum, we met in CR2, and we had difficulty getting the Zoom working, and at 20 after 6, I sent everybody home, and we had a meeting. So we did have a meeting after that where we got the equipment to work. So this is the minutes from the Rules and Procedure Committee special meeting, June 29th. The meeting was called to order at 6:04 in CR2 of the annex by myself. Present were members Representative Bright, Representative Watson, Massett, and Thomas. Representative Thomas was on Zoom. Also present were the town clerk, our moderator, and J.C. Amwas, who actually initiated the referral by writing to the RTM. He was on Zoom. Our moderator read out loud the correspondence from J.C. Amwa from 5/24/22, which initiated the referral. There was discussion on RTM Rule 6.3.1. Representative Thomas gave a historical background on the Citizens Oversight Review Committee, which was pertinent to the discussion as background information. There was discussion as to whether the entire RTM should approve or weigh into assigning a new RTM committee and/or referring to existing committees. Moderator Rusk stated that that is what she, as moderator, would do anyways. So the committee decided by consensus not to change Rule 6.3.1, and we adjourned at 6:42. Respectfully submitted myself, the chair, and I might add that this meeting was also recorded. I think at this point I asked for somebody to, I move acceptance of my minutes. That's what I'm supposed to do, right? It's a first for me up here.
Second.
You need a first.
I move acceptance.
I second.
Okay, is there any correction to the minutes? Okay, seeing none, those minutes are approved.
Thank you.
So, so what I'll ask now is there any motion to be made by anyone on the floor? Because there was not a motion made out of committee.
Can you say that a little louder?
It was a referral to the committee. There's no action coming out of the committee, so there's no motion made by the committee to make any changes.
Thank you.
Okay, seeing none. We are moving on. All we have left is other business. Is there any other business? Representative Chase.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Thank you, Madam Moderator. I wasn't understanding what you were saying about this
So there were
change.
no recommendations for any changes to be done to the rules.
Okay, so if we
So-
don't like that, then what do we do?
Then you can make a motion to accept this or send it back to committee. Wait, what?
No.
Hold on. I'm sorry, I did not have a chance to review this in our.
No, right here. So, yeah,
Thank you.
so if.
Stamp your feet.
Stamp your feet. Good plan.
No matter should be.
If it goes to committee and there's no,
Failure to committee to do so shall place it on their team. Okay.
place it before their team.
But they did meet, so. Yep.
Okay, so there's no motion on the floor.
Any matter of interest to the R.T.M. may be returned to the appropriate standing committee by a majority vote of those present, except the matter of being once returned.
My apologies, I was much later today than I had planned on and thought I would have time to review this. So, the rule in our 33rd? The rule to the 33rd representative, 6.5.4, any matter of proper interest to the RTM may be returned to the appropriate standing committee by a majority vote of those present, except that after a matter has been once returned to a committee, it shall require a 2/3 vote of those present to return it again to the standing committee. So if you want to return it, if you don't agree with this, you can make a motion for it to be returned to the committee first.
I would like to make a motion to return it to the committee.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
May I speak on the motion?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I know the committee report said that you, as the moderator, would do what you think is right by asking the whole body, but that may not be the case going forward. So I think we should have a consensus by the whole body to form a committee, and I agree with the first asterisk in the report here. I think that's the best one. And it's not anything derogatory or anything, it's just putting some steps in motion so that one person doesn't make a decision about something that could be large.
So the first asterisk, meaning the moderator may announce to the RTM, that one?
Yes.
I'll read that. The moderator may announce to the RTM membership and seek approval by RTM consensus the creation of a special committee that in the moderator's opinion may be necessary and may designate the chairperson thereof. If there is an objection by the RTM membership to this special committee, then the moderator shall refer this item to the RTM Rules and Procedures Committee for review of the merits of the special committee. The moderator may appoint a representation as a liaison in accordance to RTM Rule 6.3.2, just so we're all aware of what Representative Chase is stating. Okay. Representative Eben has her hand up. Representative Eben?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I just wanted to note that the rules are unique to this body, and so the next RTM will rewrite the rules. So whatever is done in this time, contrary to what Representative Chase says, could be undone in the next, in 1 year, basically. So I just wanted to put that out and not speak one way or the other, but just to note that these rules are simply a 2-year holding place until the next RTM.
Thank you. Representative Bailey?
Thank you very much. Instead of like a consensus by a vote, by a full vote by the body, is that okay?
Can you repeat what you're asking?
Well, I was saying instead of by a consensus.
Consensus?
By a vote, a majority vote of the body.
Oh, so if we're sending this back, that can be one of the recommendations that they come to. Is there anybody else who'd like to speak on this? Representative Cerf.
Just point of information, Madam Moderator, what is the difference between consensus and a majority vote?
A consensus would be a non-vote. So just like, are we all okay with this? It's just not a vote.
So show of hands, or?
That's a vote. It's more of like, are there any major objections? It's not a hard and fast vote. It doesn't go in the minutes as a vote.
I kind of agree with Representative Bailey that a simple vote might be easier and clearer, but that's just my opinion.
Okay. Representative Thomas.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I think what is at the heart of the concern here is the concept of checks and balances. And in the Rules and Procedures Committee meeting, we discussed this item at length previously when the body first met. The Temporary Rules and Procedures Committee met when the 33rd RTM convened, and I had proposed a number of possible rule modifications that would provide some checks and balances on the moderator's power on how to operate the RTM. And all of those were, mostly all of those were rejected by the Rules and Procedures Committee at the time. And then after the Permanent Rules and Procedures Committee was formed, there was some brief discussion of that. I reintroduced my motions in one of the committee meetings, and then after some discussion, I withdrew my motions, and when I realized the will of that body was not there to create any sort of system of checks and balances on the moderator's power. So, when this referral came forward and it came to the Rules and Procedures Committee meeting for the permanent, on the 29th, and that, it was an interesting moment for me because in theory I agree with the principle of the referral. I'm all for checks and balances. That was the heart of the matter when I made my propositions before. However, I felt like the committee was kind of in conflict with itself if it was going to recommend moving forward with this item as a check and balance on the moderator and not move forward and consider any other check and balance on the moderator. And that was sort of one of the lines of conversation we had in the meeting, and I would encourage anyone to look up the video on GMTV YouTube and review it for yourself if you want to hear the details of the conversation. So that's, and then in the process of that conversation, one of the committee, I forget who, but basically asked the moderator, or maybe I think you offered it, he's saying like that was how you're going to do it anyway, that if there's any proposition for a special committee that you would just bring it to the body out of hand, because that's how you want to manage that situation. And that was acceptable to the committee, and so that's how things moved out of committee without a recommendation for a motion. So as we consider this motion tonight to bring it back, I would encourage you all to think about that. If we're going to set the precedent of having a check and balance on the moderator, well then logically, to be logically consistent, there are a number of other items that we could also look at in the rules that would also provide further checks and balances. If we accept one, then logically, you would have to at least consider the others and possibly accept the others. If you're going to set the precedent in one avenue, then you may want to set the precedent in others. So, there's that to think about. That's all I got to say about that for now. Thank you.
Representative Ray? Representative Ray, did you have your hand up? Representative Ray, did you have your hand up?
Ray?
Okay. Representative Weaver?
In reading what this says, it's very clear. The moderator doesn't have sole ability to make any decisions. The whole purpose of this says that she or he has the ability to get a consensus vote and select a special committee. There's nothing that says that the person in the role of the moderator can solely make a decision without seeking a consensus. And I think in the RTM, in the very first meeting where we had to elect or appoint a moderator, it's clearly stated in the rules what the moderator can do and can't do when then there's a disagreement. And I don't know why we'd want to send this back, because it just seems like squeaking a wheel that's already been squeaked. And there's clearly checks and balances. If there's a disagreement, the moderator can already make certain determinations if there's disagreements in the forum by virtue of her role as it already is. But I think this clearly says that this is a checks and balance, because if there's disagreements, she can appoint a special committee and get the consensus of the RTM. So I don't see how this doesn't have checks and balances in it. So I would agree to leave it as is.
Representative Chase?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. I understand that this is for 2 years, or the remainder of our 2 years, but at least it will be on the books. And I don't agree that if we approve this new change, that we'd have to approve all new changes. That's not necessarily so. So thank you.
Representative, wait, did Representative Powers, or Representative Pacino, you have your hand up.
Move to vote. I have my hand up.
Okay. All in favor of voting, or moving the vote?
Non-debatable. You want to do a roll call? Yeah.
Okay. We're going to do a roll call.
Adams?
Well, no, we are voting to move the vote, and that is not debatable. We have to move forward. We have to just take a vote as to whether or not we are moving the vote, which means we end discussion and we vote on the topic. Okay, sorry, that wasn't clear. So
Bailey?
we are voting to move the vote.
Bailey?
This is to move the question?
Yes.
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 Okay. Burrell? I'm sorry?
Yes.
Yes.
Bright?
Yes.
Casper?
Yes.
Surf?
Abstain.
Chase?
No.
Cobb? Oops, not here. Eben?
No.
Frickman?
Yes.
Fritchie?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Gustafson?
Yes.
Hanscom?
Yes.
Ivy? I think Ivy's not here.
No.
Okay. Jacome?
Yes.
Massett?
Yes.
Merritt?
Yes.
Norman? Aubrey?
Yes.
Powers K?
Yes.
Powers S?
Yes.
Pacino?
Yes.
Ray?
Yes.
Scott?
We should never limit this body's ability to vote, therefore I vote no.
Okay. Semeraro?
Yes.
Thomas?
No.
VC Williams?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
Weaver?
Yes.
Wells?
No.
White?
Yes.
And Rusk.
Abstain.
Okay. That's-
15.
Who did I skip? Oh, gosh, Norman. Guinevere.
Yes.
She's a yes. So that's 24 yes, 5 no, and 3 abstentions.
So that passes. Okay, so we will take a vote. What we are voting on is sending this referral back to committee.
That's you, baby. All in favor? Oh, Casper has his hand up.
Representative Casper, do you still have your hand up from before?
Yes, I didn't realize it was up.
Okay. So what we are voting on is to send this referral back to committee.
You want to do
Roll
roll
call,
call?
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
I'm sorry. Okay, yes, no, or abstention? Adams? Bailey?
Yes?
Burrell? No. Bright? No. Casper?
No.
Surf?
Yes.
Chase?
Yes.
Eben?
Abstain.
Frickman?
Yes.
Fritchie?
Yes.
Gardner?
Yes.
Guinevere?
Yes.
Gustafson? Hanscom?
Abstain.
Jacome?
Was a yes.
Okay, okay. Massett? Merritt?
No.
Norman? 9. Aubrey? K. Powers?
Yes?
S. Powers? Pacino?
No.
Ray?
No.
Scott?
Abstain.
Cimarero? Thomas? V.C. Williams? Oh, she's not here. Watson?
online. No.
Oh, sorry, no? 12. Watson?
No.
Weaver?
No.
Wells?
No.
White?
No.
And Rusk?
No.
Okay.
So that motion fails.
Yeah, 10 in favor, 16 opposed, and 5 abstentions, which really are no votes.
So I will take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
That was difficult.
That's it?
Jackie, as much as I like to spend time with you, I'm glad that got voted down.
What time is it now?
And I with you, my dear.
19.
You're whacking.
Town meeting to do a ride-along with the Groton Town Police. You will absolutely get a wealth of information on how they do their business, and you'll actually be able to see the interaction between the police and the citizens. So that's what I wanted to bring up. I really do recommend that you put in, and it's easy. You just go to the police department, get the form, fill it out, turn it in, and then they'll call you, and you can get any shift. You can get, I went on Sunday night, 4 to midnight, and I've also put in another request for midnight to 8, and 8 to 4 during the day. And I've also put in a request to spend some time with their dispatchers. so that I can get a feel for, how they do their job. So, but I do recommend minimum, you should do a ride-along. Thank you, Madam Moderator.
Representative Scott, sorry, I did say other business earlier, and then we bounced back, sorry.
Thank you for reopening the meeting. I have two items. The first thing I'd like to ask is a referral that we invite Senator Dick Blumenthal here to discuss his involvement in the Branford Manor situation. I feel like the town is being unfairly maligned in this situation, that there may be some things that he's responsible for, so I'd like for him to address that before our body. And then the other thing that I want to bring up, I sent an email to the town council on July 5th to be read into the record, and it was not read into the record, so I'm going to read it into the record here because I think it's something that needs to be addressed. I had written my original email as chairman of the Groton Republican Town Committee. Tonight I'll wear my R.T.M. hat. So I'm writing to ask for information on the legality of the vote that was held to appoint citizens to the Citizens and Police Committee. Appearances from that night and in the days after would show that the vote was not proper, yet nothing seems to have been done about it. I would like to go on the record, was the vote proper? And if it was not proper, is something being done to correctly make the appointments as they came from the assigned committee? So I'm looking for more information with respect to that vote that was held to appoint people to the Citizens Police Commission, and I would like a response from the town council. Thank you.
Okay.
You want me to answer that? Go ahead. I can answer you, or do you want me to wait until next month, or what do you want to do? Because there was misconception about how that vote, the council has their own rules, and the council's rules for appointments and for boards and commissions, all boards and commissions, clearly states that the council has the ability to appoint anybody they want, the whole council. Even if there are recommendations from political parties or the Personnel and Appointments Committee, they can still do anything they want. It's really, it rarely happens that you see a change from what has come from the committee, the subcommittee, the Personnel and Appointments Subcommittee. As you get your things from your subcommittees, a referral, it's really rare to see something change than what was suggested. But boy, that really did, and it wasn't illegal. I didn't like it either, but it's not illegal.
But wasn't there a question, I'm sorry, Madam Moderator, but wasn't there a question that they should have suspended the rules in order to pull up a different slate versus the original slate that was on the agenda?
Not at all, because their rules didn't need to be suspended. Their rules stood. The rules stand, In other words, they didn't change their rules. Their rules stand. So if they're, and I could read the rule if you want me to, the town council has the right to appoint whomever they care to.
No, I understand that. My concern is that there was a procedure in place that was moving through the system, and then all of a sudden there was a new set of people. There was no motion to suspend the rules. There was, all of a sudden it was just a new slate.
There's no rule to suspend. The rule is clearly set that the town council has the ability to appoint who they care to appoint, regardless of who's recommended, or a slate or anything. It's just their prerogatives. So there's no rule to suspend. If you suspend a rule, you're saying you're not using it.
But even though it was on the agenda.
What was on the agenda was appointing the people to the police and.
But there was a list of names, and we could debate. I don't want to take too much of it. There was a list of names there, and then another list of names was provided.
There's no debate on it at all. It was a proper. No one likes it,
right,
because it goes against your sense of morality when you say, hey, wait a minute, these people were interviewed. We don't even know who these people are, and you're just plucking them out of a slate. It's very uncomfortable, but there's nothing illegal about it.
Okay.
Representative Sir.
I had a problem with the math of that vote. Typically, if you propose, 3 people to be dog catchers, and another group comes along and proposes another 3, that's a total of 6 people that need to be voted on. And so, in my opinion, at that point, all 12 candidates should.
Thank you. What's your point of order?
I don't think that is the place of this body to debate the rules of the town council.
I would recommend
that actually is
may
not,
I answer
that's
the
problem
question?
is it's not in the rules of council.
May I speak on this? So I would recommend that you speak to the town council about your concerns, because this body has no jurisdiction over that vote.
Well, unfortunately, I can't because just a citizen there and I only get 5 minutes a month. You're much more generous of our time.
Representative Thomas.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. For anyone that has concerns about how that vote happened and if it was improper or not, there are some technical concerns. I would recommend you reach out to the FOI Commission and various other, the CCM and CCOG. They have some resources that could probably give you some information on how to address your concerns. So I would recommend you do that. To follow up, I guess, well, I'm curious to know, I'm in the research I've been doing regarding the Branford Manor situation, like I said, John, the town manager sent me an email, and it took me to a link on the website that went through not just the Branford Manor tax abatement agreement and all the associated documents that they have on file, but it also listed out a number of other tax abatements. And I'd like to make a referral to the Finance Committee that they, I guess, look into the catalog, the tax abatements that we have currently on file, and the ones that are active, and then do a review of those, such that so we can understand if we are in compliance and the people that are receiving the tax abatements are in compliance with the expectations of those tax abate agreements.
Is that something that you can compile?
Oh, yeah, yeah, I think that's because the RTM is supposed to be the arm of the finance. And I know that when Director Reiner was explaining to this body the TIF program, this body was assured that any of those programs that would be abating, basically, taxes, would be approved by the RTM. So I'm wondering why that wasn't approved. It was council approved it. Why didn't the RTM have to weigh in on it? That's a good question.
So I can send that referral to the
Finance
Committee with help from the town clerk, who can get those documents together.
I'd be glad to help clarify the focus of my question, too, if that came out kind of garbled. Thank you.
Okay. Representative Weaver, do you have something for other business?
Other business, yes. It was mentioned that the opioid fund distribution was done in the town council, but it wasn't addressed in the RTM. Why weren't we part of that decision for the distribution of those funds? I think that's something that needs to be addressed.
Is it under $10,000?
Anything over 10.
So was it under $10,000?
It was over
Yeah,
because
$22,000.
it was in this forum that I recommended that initiative go forward.
I will discuss that with.
We're going to look into
We'll
that.
look into it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other business? Representative Norman.
I just had a question for Representative Bright. For the ride-alongs, can any citizen do them or just the RTM?
No, any citizen.
Okay, and so you go to the police department and then sign up?
You get
Great.
a form, you go in their lobby, look at the desks are.
Okay, thank you.
Back to this John Scott thing.
All right. Again, my apologies for jumping other business the second time around. Any other business? Seeing none, I will take a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Oh, hold on. Who was my first? Representative Massett, Representative Bright. Thank you. We are adjourned.
What time?
It is 8:30.
Thank you.
Bailey, second.
Hang on a second. Who motioned?